Good evening. It's time for Real Talk Elgin with your host, Heather Keller of the Keller Group of KW Inspire. Heather is a leader in real estate sales and a foreclosure specialist with over 13 years experience. Real Talk Elgin is your place to get the latest information about the newest trends in real estate. Learn about the industry and ask any questions you may have for Heather. Join Heather live in Studio 14 in downtown Elgin by calling 847-931-1410. That number again is 847-931-1410. And now, Real Talk Elgin with Heather Keller.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. I'm your host of Real Talk, Heather Keller, licensed real estate broker with Keller Williams Inspire here in Elgin. It is Tuesday, and I love Tuesdays. Every other Tuesday, I am here on WRMN 1410. And I am providing real-time accurate information of all things real estate. So if you've tuned in before, we try to pick a different topic every other week. And if you like our show, please share it and like our page, Real Talk Elgin. You can listen to all of our past shows on our website, realtalkelgin.com. And we are also on iHeartRadio now, which is super exciting. We are on season 2, which is crazy to me because this show started just over a year ago, and we are now halfway through season number 2. So this is episode 8 today. And I always, what? Yeah. Wow. I know, episode 8, season 2, right? And half of 2021 is almost over. And we'll talk more about the upcoming shows later. But I always say this, and I say this because I want to inspire people out there. So I started this radio show because of my vast knowledge in real estate. I've done everything from short sales, foreclosures, rentals, you name it, I've done it and I've seen it. So I went outside my comfort zone to start this real estate show, and it's exciting. I got that bug now. People say, oh, you have that real estate bug. I love it, like every other Tuesday to come on here. It is so exciting. So there's lots and lots of topics we've covered over the last year. Please go to our website, realtalkelgin.com, and you can listen to all of them there. Later on in the show, we're going to talk about how to get a free copy of my book, The Complete Guide to Selling Your Home as a Short Sale, all of our upcoming shows for the second half of 2021, and I have some updated information on the new Keller Williams Inspire office in Elgin, which I'm super excited for. So please, stay tuned for all that. So tonight, I have 2 guests tonight, which is awesome. That's the first time that we've done that. And Steve has been with us before. So we have Steve and Carmen. They're both from Land Trust Title. So tonight we're going to be talking about all things title. So whether you're looking to buy a home in the near future or looking to sell a home, we're going to talk about all that because, well, it costs money to sell a home and it's expensive in Illinois. So we're going to talk about all that. If you have any questions throughout the show, please give us a call in live and we can answer those questions. 847-931-1410. Again, that's 847-931-1410. So before we get into title, Steve and Carmen, why don't you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself? Steve, you want to start?
Yes, absolutely. Heather, it's a pleasure to be here again.
Yes, thank you.
Even though you've only been doing this for just one season, you sound like a pro. I mean, you really do. You just come across so natural.
Thank you.
So
I like it. And, really, you just have to be yourself. Like, I'm going to stumble over words. But what's more important is that we are providing that real, accurate information for people out there. So thank you.
That's great. Yeah, so I applaud you for doing it, and it's really important information. So my name is Steve Kaempf. I'm the Senior Vice President of Sales for Land Trust Title Services. Land Trust is the 3rd largest title company in Illinois. We're an agency that's underwritten by all the major underwriters, and we have multiple locations across Chicagoland, and we have just been providing, literally helping thousands of people into homes every year, and it's really a pleasure for us. Our mission is to fulfill the American dream one closing at a time.
Oh, I love that.
So, yeah, it's great. And so one of our the best advocates for connection and customer service and just building our entire network of partner attorneys and agents is Carmen Carbonara. She's our Director of Sales, and we're really pleased to have her here as well. Welcome, Carmen.
Thank you. So this is my first time on the show. So Steve, is now a professional at this. She's a big pro.
Yeah.
And so my name is Carmen Carbonara. I am Director of Sales at Land Trust Title. I've been in the industry for 16 years. Absolutely love what I do. And I will say that first. I want to say, so I met Heather years ago, and I took her out to lunch. Just to get to know her, because to me it's very important to build relationships within the industry, and no expectations, unconditionally, just to get to know the people that we work with. Mm-hmm. So if they ever have a question, whether they're on the sell side or the buy side, they always have a contact. To me, it's very important. So we had a meeting and we loved it, got to know each other, and throughout the years we've had this wonderful relationship, and we've done a lot, and here we are. So thank you. I've seen her grow, and she's incredible at what she does. The first time I met with her, she just talked with passion about how she helps people. That's what she does, and that's exactly what we do. To us, it's not just a transaction, but to me, it is all about people. It really is about the transaction, working with my customers, attorney customers, real estate agents, from beginning to end on every single file. I am always available, because to me it's very important that we move the file, that everyone gets an answer quickly, so that we can get to the closing very smoothly, so that the buyers and the sellers have a great experience. The real estate agents are very happy. Our both attorneys are very happy. That everyone is very happy. Seriously, it really is about the buyers and the sellers, and so that's what I love to do. So Heather, thank you so much for having us here. I'm very excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. And I love that what you just said, like, real estate is a people business. And, it is all about relationships. And we've had this relationship for so long. And Carmen's very good at putting people together. Like, I don't know how many we had lunches last year, the three of us.
We had a lot of lunches.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
she introduced me to Kate, actually, that was on the show 2 weeks ago. And then 2 weeks from now, Adil Mohammed is coming back, and you introduced us too. So she's very good at connecting, but more importantly, when you are buying or selling a home, it is the seller's attorney's responsibility to, do all the title and all that. So working with a trusted title company is great, and Carmen is always available, and I can get things done very quickly with her, which is very important.
I don't think I've ever seen a profession, especially those who have done shows, that it is all about connecting. They always have one person in a group that's the connector. Obviously you mentioned this is Carmen, but in order to work so closely and so successfully, this has been probably one of the arenas that I've seen in the professional business that top notch, that just does it start to finish. I think that's so impressive. Yeah,
Yeah, she is so good. Like, I mean, I don't think she ever Do you sleep?
I do, because when I get to bed, it's just like I'm out, because I'm so exhausted. But then I wake up at 6 o'clock and I'm going till 10:30 at night.
Yeah,
I really am.
That's how I am.
But the thing about this industry is that, seriously, every transaction is connected. So to me, it's very important that we do this transaction so well, so when the buyer goes on, to their next transaction, that they're closing as well. And the same way, like the transaction right before us, to us, everything is together. So it's very important to me.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Yeah, that's why I wanted you to come on, Carmen. You're such a big part of this.
Yes,
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I have lots of questions I'd love to go through. But first, Steve, you just ended your first season of your podcast, which
Yes.
Chris, my husband, and I were on at the end of summer last year, which was so fun.
Yes.
So I just want to talk a little bit. How did the season go, and what are you doing for the upcoming season?
So, the motivation for the podcast, just really quick, I started my sales career when I was 19 years old. And, along the way, I met so many amazing salespeople, and their stories were all different, but there were some common threads. And so I thought it would be a great thing, especially as COVID, as we all started getting locked down. I thought, I want to start talking to some people and have them share their stories. And Carmen was able to introduce me to at least half the guests that we've had on the podcast, and other people that I've met in the real estate industry. We've had you guys, and we've had attorneys. And there was just some great common themes of success, of hard work, of the fact that it takes time to get to a certain point where, people think you're an overnight success, and, oh my gosh, Heather, look at you, you got a radio show, you got it all together. It's like, well, you weren't there when I was eating macaroni and cheese and wondering how I was going to get the next bowl of macaroni and cheese, and working totally on faith. So we had 15 different programs over the year. We wrapped it up with a year-end special that you were so gracious to be a part of, and we had NFL player Marcus Ogden he was like one-liner after another. I mean, he was like super motivational, and so were you. And so this year, we're going to do more of the same. We're going to be connecting with agents. We're going to be connecting with industry professionals and just finding out how they got there. And so if you're a young person that's wondering, gosh, can sales be a career for me? It'd be worth checking out a few of those and saying, what are the earmarks of success? Because they're all there. All the nuggets, all the golden nuggets of success are all there for you to take and build and learn from. So,
what is the name of the podcast?
It's called People, Not Titles.
Yes.
And so,
I love that.
Yeah, People, Not Titles. And again, like Carmen said, and like you said, it really is all about people. And that these aren't just, we aren't just agents and we aren't just title people. We're real human beings that are on a mission. I love your mission of how many people you want to help, so it's how many people you want to help, not via short sales. What is it? It's you're hoping to help 100 people, right?
Yeah, 100 families.
100
That's
families.
my mission every year is I want to help 100 families. Now I've gotten very close to that.
Yeah.
But this year there's just, not a lot of short sales.
Yeah.
I think I've taken on only a handful. A lot of them is traditional sales because of what's going on. But I love Steve's podcast. So if you're interested and you're wanting to be motivated.
Yeah. Spotify, it's on YouTube. It's, check out, actually Heather and Chris's podcast is great. So if you went on YouTube and checked it out, we actually did the podcast at Chris's store.
Yeah, his old store.
His old store.
Yep. He's got a new one coming up. So it is interesting because you're
Yes.
right. It took us a long time to get to this point. And I used to eat macaroni and cheese and I wasn't sure, how we would get the next macaroni and cheese. Like we worked for everything that we had and, hard work and dedication and persistence, it pays off and you just have to continue to meet the right people and, it will happen.
One thing I when you were saying, let's prepare for this, I thought about it and I thought work time plus effort equals experience. Okay. So now you have experience. Then if you have experience plus effort, you have success. But it's very hard to go from effort and time to success without gaining experience. You can only gain experience with working at it. And that's why you're such a value to your clients is you've seen it all. Like you get a file across your desk. It's like, I know the move. I know, I've seen the play coming my way and I know our response. So that's the exciting thing.
Yeah, that's why, for me, I have seen everything, and I sometimes even have title pulled ahead of time. If I'm working on a short sale and it may look like the title's a little wacky, and wacky meaning there's IRS tax liens or other liens. I like to pull title up front, which is great to just have, land trust title do it. It doesn't take as long. There's some other title companies that I've used in the past where it does take forever. And when I'm on a time crunch, because time is of the essence with all short sales, I need to know that information.
And I'm going to make sure that you get it right away.
Yeah. And, if I'm not, then I contact Carmen.
Now, for somebody who might not be familiar with that lingo, what does it mean to pull title? If I am a buyer or a seller, tell me what that means from your point of view to what I can expect.
Sure. So I'm typically a listing agent. Now, I don't have the title pulled if it's like a traditional sale. It does get pulled. Pulling title just means that they want to look at the title of the house, making sure who owns it. Is there a mortgage? Like you can see all that. I'm a nerd when it comes to that. I love to read titles. So it comes back. Sometimes it's pages and pages long, but I like to see, okay, what am I dealing with when it comes to the short sale? Is there one mortgage? Is there two mortgages?
Is there liens?
Is
tax
there,
liens?
like
This is doing
IRS
your
tax
homework.
liens.
So it's
like prior.
Taxes, judgments, and liens.
Yeah.
That's what we look at.
So I just want to make sure that that's clear or clean, as we say, or if it's not, then I know what I have to do for the deal, which is very important.
And a lot of times, you want to know, am I talking to the actual owner? You know what I mean? It's like, you have someone representing themselves as owning the property, but if it's in an estate or if there's some kind of tricky things going on, you want to find out, am I getting the right people to sign the contract actually?
That's a good question. So I was at an event with Carmen a few weeks ago, and there was an attorney, Jill Daniels, there. Hi, Jill, if she's
Hi,
listening.
Jill.
So I think of that because Jill always says, ask questions, ask questions, ask questions. And that's what I'm good at. Like, I have a whole list of questions that I ask, like, okay, who's on the mortgage? Who's on the title? Because whoever is on the title of the house, so like, for example, Leah, maybe your husband is just on the mortgage, but you and your husband are on the title, okay? So if you and your husband are on the title, then you both have to sign all of the paperwork.
We just in refinancing, we had to go through that because one
Yeah.
name was on the mortgage and do both of, we had to switch that over.
Yeah, so with a short sale, if someone is just on the mortgage, then I only deal with their information for the mortgage. But it's always good to ask who's on title, and sometimes they don't even know. So that's why we like to pull it to be sure, because you want to make sure that the right person's signing, or you're right if it's in a trust, or like I have one right now that they didn't have to go through probate, but the seller passed away, and so it was in not a trust, what's it called? Anyways, there was a certain name I had to put on the documents.
Yeah.
So that's all very, very important.
Yeah, and for Heather, as a professional, she comes in there and says, "Hey, listen, my title partners, I have this information in advance, as opposed, just helps you skip a step and allows you to be ahead of the game as opposed to trying to figure out who's doing what,
Yeah, I mean, title is very, very important, especially when it comes to a short sale. And I can do some due diligence up front, but the title is going to tell me everything. So I like to have that because it's going to give me a better game plan for the sellers going forward.
And that's experience coming into play.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
I
it.
mean, there's a lot of moving parts with real estate in general, but the short sale, I think it like triples, maybe quadruples,
Totally.
right?
Yeah. Short sale is truly, you cannot, if you're just dabbling doing one or two a year, it's going to be a long road to hoe. But if you're doing it, it is an expertise. There's no doubt about it.
A niche.
It's a
Is that what
niche.
they say? A niche?
Yeah.
Yeah, niche.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I love them. I do. And Adil's coming on in a couple weeks to kind of talk about where things are at, because he was here, I think, in February, and we thought the moratorium was ending, and here we have it extended again. So he's coming back to talk about that, because I know there's a lot of people out there struggling.
Yeah.
And it's
and one of the things that I noticed just about you, Heather, is that you have a process. A lot of salespeople, even real estate salespeople, they're great prospectors, they're great connectors, they're great with relationship, but then the organization side or the process side or the flow of things is, they have to have someone that does that, cleans up the mess. Even I'm a little bit like that, like as a person, a sales professional. But Heather actually started a little differently, where she enjoys the process, the hunt, and got good at all that, and then presented herself to the marketplace as a professional that will get the job done, an expert.
Yeah, she is an
yeah.
expert.
So
she
like,
is
I love
infallible with detail.
organization.
Yeah.
And
I know her lists and color-coded and blah, blah, blah. It's like, whoa.
Well, Chris and I started short sales together
Yes.
back in 2007, and he was more of like, I'm the go-getter, I'm calling the banks, and for me, I'm like, okay, I'm going to stay organized. And, now I can be that, like, I'm like that fireball also. But like maybe at the next show, I'll bring my to-do list. But every Monday morning, I print off this to-do list. I'm super, super organized. The to-do list has like, personal and business stuff. And then depending on, like, I'm using blue and red Sharpies. I know this is so off topic,
no, this is great.
but a blue, red Sharpies, because it's almost Memorial Day, and that's blue.
Yeah, red, white, and blue.
And the
Let's
paper's
go.
white, so
Yeah.
red, white, and blue. And I just, cross it off as I do
It's a
it. Like
great
tonight,
feeling.
my show's on the list. So tomorrow morning,
Yeah.
I get excited. I get my Sharpie and cross it off. So you, especially with short sales, like.
Yeah.
You have to be super organized, and you have to have the right team. Like it took me forever to find the right team. So,
Yes. That's a whole nother story.
yeah, that's that.
Yeah.
We should have a show just on like organization. Anyway, so land trust title. I'm sure you guys are super busy right now.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
actually,
are you seeing a lot more buys or sells, or tell us a little bit about that?
Well, the title company, we received the sales.
Okay.
Yes, and since last year, I mean, you know, when the shutdown took place, we all thought that it was going to be like the end of everything, and you know, it was for like a couple of weeks, 2, 3, you know, a few weeks, but it's been extremely busy. I've kept extremely busy, but I think so has everybody else. Would you say, Steve?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, from the moment, you know, the day that the shutdown happened, we went from everyone working, in the office to everyone being remote overnight, and not missing a single closing.
Yes.
Not have to
And I know
cancel
that
a
was
single
hard
one.
for Carmen because she's like a people person,
Yes.
and
Oh,
you wanted to be in the
absolutely.
office.
Oh, I told him I wasn't going home. He said to me several times, like, you have to go home. I've never worked from home. So
Yeah.
being at home for 10 weeks that was it. But I have to say, so the person behind that, we didn't skip a beat at all, and I have to credit Grace Chacos. Grace Chacos is our Senior Vice President of Operations. She's been doing this for over 30 years. She builds operations, and that's what she does. She's magnificent. And so when this happened unexpectedly, she had us set up to where everyone was working from home without a problem at all.
So what is it? I thought what is it like now? Are you still doing? Because I get this question a lot. Like, do I have to come to closing? You know, are you still doing remotes? Are people coming? Like, what is Land Trust Title doing?
I think what most title companies are doing, I'll just say the beginning, Steve.
Yep.
The seller's attorneys, they are pre-signing and they're not coming into the office. Buyers.
Okay, so
and
wait. So
attorneys.
sellers pre-signing. That basically means if you're selling a home, then as the seller, you're going to go into your attorney's office and pre-sign all the documentation so that way you do not have to attend the closing. That's been typical or common.
Even pre-COVID.
Even pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Now everyone is doing that.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's
Buyers and buyers' attorneys are coming into the closing.
okay. So they are coming
Yes,
in
they
now.
are.
Yeah. See, that's where it was hard. Like I like going to closings. I don't go to the seller ones typically because sellers don't normally go to the closing.
Yeah.
So I'm not just going to go there and, sit around. But if I had buyer closings, then I would go. It's an exciting time. Like they're signing for a new house, and but are they allowing agents to come in now? No. Yes.
Here's what I would say. I would say that allowing. So here's the thing. One of the keys to, I think one of the greatest things that happened for our economy when COVID hit was that real estate was considered essential business, because if it could have really went a different way. And so one of the things that we thought about as a title company, hey, we love the attorney to show up. We love for the agents to show up. We love to be there because it's a great sales opportunity for us and a service opportunity. However, we wanted to be responsible and wanted to make sure that we didn't get shut down because there's 15 people standing in a room. So we wanted to respect our closers as well, who are on the front line from the very beginning, doing closings, never missing a beat, outside, car windows, closing at McDonald's, whatever it was. And so that was the first motivation: is keep everyone safe. Keep everyone tight. However, it has become a little looser, okay, that there are more people that are showing up. Attorneys, there are some attorneys that really feel it's important to be at the closing table.
Yeah.
And so they want to be there. There's agents that want to be there and high five. They want to be there at that magic moment when the keys are slipped across the table, right? And they're like, wow, we got this home. Let's take the picture with the little home or the key.
Yeah,
or whatever
I do
it is.
miss that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of buzz, social media buzz that people are getting mileage out of it. So we're trying to balance between having that and, making sure that we're able to do safe closings and continue to do business. So more and more we're seeing it open up, but we're still following in the line of safer is better.
So, in other words, yes.
Yeah, we'd love to see your next closing, Heather, is what I just said.
It's a Sharpie moment for her. Don't take away her
Right.
Sharpie
Attend
excitement.
the closing.
Yeah,
Cross them off.
hey, now I do have that on there, but I'm, I don't. The buyers. It is nice to be there because it is a very surreal moment, especially the ones that have gone through the short sale with me and then they buy. So it's always nice. So hopefully things are starting to get back to normal. All right, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back to talk about more titles, buyers and sellers.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Real Talk Elgin with real estate expert Heather Keller. Call 847-931-1410 and Heather will be happy to answer your questions about real estate. And now back to Studio 14 in downtown Elgin for more Real Talk Elgin with Heather Keller.
Welcome back, everyone. So before we talk more with Steve and Carmen, which I'm super excited about, I wanted to let you know you can get a free copy of my book, The Complete Guide to Selling Your Home as a Short Sale. So if you are facing financially tough times, or maybe someone you know is, this is free to you. So it's about the process of a short sale. You can get a free copy by going to realtalkelgin.com, and at the top right it says short sale booklet. You can click on that and then you fill out the form and we can mail or drop a copy off to you. If you prefer to read it online, we are now with the times and we have an online version, and so you can just scroll down to that website and it's towards the bottom and you can read it there. It's a lot of really good information. You can also text us 224-407-2220. Again, that's 224-407-2220. Or you can email us info@tkghomes.net. We'd be happy to get you a copy. So we are planning for the second half of 2021. Yay! So we have lots of shows already scheduled, which we'll post those on the Facebook page soon. But if you have a suggestion for a show, please reach out to us. You can contact us through social media, or again, you can email us info@tkghomes.net, and we would love to feature one of your suggestions. So we have a few openings left for 2021. Then we'll wrap up season 2 and start season 3 early next year. So I'm going to update some information on the new location, KW Inspire. So that is why I came to Keller Williams, because I love Elgin. I live here. My kids go here. I just love it here. So I came to Keller Williams because I knew that the new location was coming. And we had Karen Prawl on the show, and we announced a couple weeks ago that we do have a grand opening. But we're moving that grand opening up. So it is now June 15th. It is official, in the books. Yay!
Wow.
So
Standing ovation.
anyone can come. So if you want to see how my live radio show works, or maybe you want to become a real estate agent, there's going to be tons of people there. It's going to be a great event. It is Tuesday, June 15th, 2021. It's at the Elgin State Bank on the corner of Bowes and Randall in Elgin. It's going to be from 4 to 7 p.m. The Elgin Chamber is going to be there at 4:30 to do the ribbon cutting ceremony. And then my show will be live from 6 to 7 p.m. So very exciting. That's 4 weeks from tonight.
Wow.
Yeah. So
On location.
I know, on location. I haven't done on location before. I'm like
That's
used
pretty
to this
cool.
studio, but I'm very excited. You know, we don't really have a name for the show. We're just going to go there, interview agents, interview probably Eric Klein, the team leader, and Carrie is the managing broker, just so people get a better idea of who Keller Williams Inspire is. It's going to be really, really fun. So make sure you come out. If you have any questions about the opening, you can call us here and ask 847-931-1410. So I know that was a lot, but I'm so excited
We're
about the new
excited for it. I'm
office,
so
right?
excited.
Finally.
Yes.
So
I
we
saw it
have
on
one
Facebook, put it on
more
my
show.
calendar.
One more show until we do the live event. So we'll be back in 2 weeks, which we'll talk about that in a little bit, but 2 weeks we'll be back. And then again, 4 weeks from now, we'll be live at the new location. So Steve and Carmen, let's talk about sellers when they're going to sell their home. So there is closing costs involved, and I get this question a lot. Like, why do you use a title company? Why is it important to have an attorney on your team? And, you know, generally, what are the closing costs in the state of Illinois? Because if your home is worth $400,000 and you owe $200,000, the profit is not going to be $200,000. Right. And so I like to go over that with my clients when I sit down. In a short sale situation, the bank is paying all those closing costs. But in a traditional sale, the sellers have to pay that and then they get the net proceeds. So
Yes.
let's talk about that. So why is using a title company important, or why do we use a title company?
I can answer that,
Okay.
and you can answer the rest. So it's very important to use a title company. The reason people use title companies is because what the title company does is we search the properties. We get it ready for the buyer. We make sure that the property is free and clear of all taxes, judgments, and liens. When you are a buyer and you go buy a home, that property may have a lot of mechanic liens, taxes, judgments, all kinds of stuff, that the seller has. So who's going to make sure that you are well taken care of? The title company. The title company searches the property, and they work with the seller and the seller's attorney to clear that property so that when you go to close, that property is free and clear and ready for you, and you don't have anything, to worry about. It's free and clear.
Free and clear for the to move it to the buyer, to
Yes,
give it
for
to the
the
buyer.
buyer.
So that's very important.
It's
because
extremely important.
That's why you use a title company. You can't
Yes.
say, hey, I can't say, hey, Carmen, I want to buy your house cash and just like give you the cash, because I don't know if Carmen
Have a ton.
owns her home. Like she,
Absolutely.
you never know. Or she could have different liens on the title. Like, for example, I did one recently where there was it was a roof lien. Like she didn't pay the roofer, so they put a lien on the property. You have to clear all of that in order to close on the home. So that is why you use the title company.
Are you going to have more of that now that people have done, maybe had to do second mortgages or things like that, or have a lot more history, longer title requirements or additions to the titles because of COVID?
So I don't mind dealing with the two mortgages is fine. For a traditional sale, you just add it up, get the payoff, and move forward as long as there's the equity. But with the short sale, if there's two mortgages and it shows on title, then the first mortgage will tell the second mortgage how much they're allowed to get.
Okay.
Typically it's around $6,000. If it's a Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac deal, then they get $6,000. So it's just can be very complicated to clear a title. Now with everyone right now doing stuff to their homes.
Right.
Yeah, because of COVID, it seems like everyone's doing stuff to their homes. So we have to be careful and make sure that we are reviewing the title and, have a trusted partner like Land Trust. So
Yeah, and the other part of the title insurance company, so on the day of closing, so there's all this pre-work that's done both on the buy side and the sell side, the inspection issues, clearing title, as Carmen was talking about, and all that, and that's from the listing side, right, or from the sell side. Then on the buy side, there's the getting of the mortgage, making sure you have the money, making sure that's all verified, and so at the title company, all of the buyer commitment to bringing funds to satisfy the purchase price, they bring that to the title company. And then on the list side or the sell side, the attorney and the title company have worked together to create a clean title to deliver to the buyer. And so those things come together. And so in essence, the title company is kind of like the duty-free zone or the neutral zone, where they both come together and they say, buyer, you're good. Seller, you're good. We have a deal. Seller gets their money. Buyer gets their home and a clean title, and it's good. So it's a trusted fiduciary for the closing to make sure that everyone feels like, wow, this was a fair and square deal. They did what they were supposed to do. They did what they were supposed to do. So, and the reason that you want to use an attorney, as you were mentioning.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say
Yeah,
next. It kind of
okay.
leads me into why is
Extremely important
it
as well.
important to use an attorney. Like some
Yeah.
people are like, some states don't use attorneys.
That's right.
And, here we do.
Yes.
So why is that important?
So first off, in Illinois, to draft a deed, you have to be an attorney. Okay, in Chicago and Collier County. So a real estate attorney has to be involved in the closing. And I believe, because they are involved in the closing, that the real estate industry and transactions in general in Chicagoland are better. It's better off that attorneys aren't. So we are big fans of the attorney agency program because of the way they contribute to the transaction, leaving the real estate agent or broker to do what they do best and everyone else to do what they do best, and leaving that point of expertise. But I think it's really important, and Carmen can add to this, before it used to be maybe even 15 years ago, if you were a family lawyer, you dabbled a little bit in real estate and this kind of thing. Well, now today, I would highly recommend that you use a real estate attorney, and that you, because the real estate attorney is doing transactions all the time. They're in the mix, and there's complete practices that center on real estate law only, and it's complex, and they can handle it on a transactional
That's
basis.
like a Kate, right?
Yes.
A what?
Kate, isn't Kate a real
Oh,
estate?
Kate. So yes. So the 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, Kate was on, and we had a closing that afternoon.
Yes.
That actually we started as a short sale, but it turned out, because how hot the market is, that we were able to close it as a traditional sale. We just paid off the 2 mortgages, but that one was a little bit more on the complicated side because they were in, foreclosure status.
Right.
So, but yes, Kate is an attorney. Does real estate membership. I said she touches all things real estate. So she does a lot of different things. I think a lot of attorneys out there do a couple different things, like Stuart Swanson. He
Estate,
does,
Right.
bankruptcy and short sale. And Adil, who's coming on in 2 weeks, he does real estate and foreclosure defense. So, and those kind of go,
They kinda go
they
hand in
go
hand.
together. So, yeah, but it's very important to use an attorney because even though sometimes I probably know just as much as the attorneys, I'm not an attorney. So there's only so much I can do as the real estate agent within the transaction.
And I was going to say, here in Illinois, there's a lot of things that the attorneys do that the real estate agents do not do, or the title company. Real estate attorneys, they facilitate all that stuff. I will tell you, I had an instance when mom was selling to son. They said, well, it's family, so we don't need attorneys. Okay, that blew up at the table like 2 or 3 times.
Oh, wow.
And finally, they were
That's
told.
especially when you need attorneys. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
stay family when you
Right.
keep
Well,
it
because
clean.
because there are things that attorneys do that the family's not going to do, the title company's not going to do, and the real estate agent is not going to do. Finally, they were told, you know what, you guys have got to get attorneys. They obtained one attorney at least, or 2
Right.
attorneys. I think 1 attorney, that did what they had to do. Like literally, it closed within days. So yes, definitely.
Not only that, I think real estate is one of those that you just have one thing put in incorrectly on a request or a documentation, you're screwed. I mean, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
why you want to have an attorney or professional doing it anyway,
Absolutely.
right?
Or if you miss it, let's say today in this market, if you miss a date, like your mortgage contingency
Right.
date or whatever it is, you could lose the whole transaction just because you didn't have an attorney, you didn't know what to watch for, or whatever it is, or you miss a closing date, and now the moving trucks and all the various pieces that don't come together. So it is just best to pay the professionals to get the job done.
It's a lot. So
It's a lot
and that's why I have to have my to-do list, because every time a contract comes in, if it's a traditional sale, it has a closing date on it. So I make sure that I put that in my calendar, and then every week I get an update on financing. Is things going well? Was the appraisal done? Okay, it was. Did it come back? Is it
The
good?
inspection period.
Yeah, the inspection period, all that
attorney
stuff.
review.
Because
Attorney
if it,
review.
yeah. And so my attorneys, I have a handful of very, very good attorneys, and it's taken me a long time to get to that point, but I trust them. And their job is to get through attorney review period. I mean, I'm there at the home inspection if it's a buyer. I don't go to if I'm the listing agent, I don't go to that inspection. But it's important to get through that and get through the inspection, quickly, so that way we can wrap up attorney review period.
Right.
And one thing that I want to stress that it's very important is, yes, you do want to work with an attorney that's dedicated to real estate. I know people want to give the business to someone because they're their cousin or their uncle or their brother, but if
Yeah.
they do not do real estate, it does you absolutely no good because they do not practice real estate. There's a lot involved. Real estate attorneys know exactly what they have to do from beginning to end, and it's just a much smoother closure. So I highly recommend that whoever you're going to work with is dedicated to real estate. It is extremely important to your transaction.
Yeah, you wouldn't want, if you were sick and had to have surgery, to just have
Absolutely.
someone go
Like a dentist.
And, yeah,
Guy
a
just out of
dentist to, do
teacher,
open
yeah.
heart surgery or
Yes.
something. You need a professional. And if you're not sure who to, turn to, feel free to reach out to me. My number 224-407-2220. I have plenty of real estate attorneys that work with land trusts that we can, refer out to you, or maybe you just have questions. It's okay to ask those questions because it's only going to help you, through the process. We didn't give your contact information. So can you just, for the viewers, give your phone number and email?
Sure.
In case they have title questions.
Absolutely. And what we would do is absolutely
Or
have them talk to an
there's-
attorney.
Yes,
Right. 'cause
well,
we have
maybe
a
there's
list
an
of
attorney
attorneys.
listening
Absolutely.
who would want to become a partner with Land Trust Title.
So my name is Carmen Carbonara. My mobile number that I've had forever, like 20 plus years. So everyone knows that it's the same one as 630-674-2376, 630-674-2376. My email is Carmen, Carmen.carbonara @mylandtrust.com. And I am always available.
Yeah, she is.
Always.
So just text her and it's like instant, text back. So go ahead,
and
Steve.
and you were mentioning, Heather, just about charges, and I think the greatest way to figure out what you're going to, net proceeds is to meet with an agent where they can calculate, here are the fees, here are the costs. There's different things. There are title charges. Title insurance does cost, and the seller pays for the policy, delivering it to the owner.
So what is that exactly? So the sellers in the state of Illinois here, they pay for it's
The
called
owner's
title
policy.
insurance, the owner's policy.
Yes.
What is that exactly? So that is a fee that is paid by the sellers, because I always get
And the
all
buyer
these-
pays for the lender's policy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I always get these questions like, what are these fees? Why am I paying those?
Right.
So, there's always going to be the commission. So whatever commission you decide with your agent.
Right.
And then there's going to be the title insurance. What is
Yes.
title insurance exactly?
Yeah, so the seller will pay for the owner's policy, and the owner's policy is for the new owner. And it's a policy that basically, if after the closing is done, and Uncle Harry comes crawling out of the woods going, hey, I had ownership in that property, I need my money. Or a carpenter comes up and says, hey, I redid their bathroom 5 years back and no one ever paid me, or whatever it is. The new owner would not have to have any liability. That liability would fall on the title insurance company. Okay? And so that's the owner's policy that's delivered. Okay, and the buyer then, the only thing the buyer would pay for in a closing is for their lender to have an insurance. That's typically cheaper, typically $500-700, whatever it is. But that would be for the mortgage company that they're using, that they would have an insurance policy to be insured, that they would be in first or second position, whatever they agree upon. So that mortgage company, before they give the loan, would want to say, hey, the title company did a search on that property. There's no outstanding liens that are going to come in before us, and we have the first position to be paid, so that new owner could not sell the home without satisfying that loan.
Yeah.
So basically, the moment the title company presses the button, and it funds, it closes and funds, it's all done. That's
Got
it.
it.
There's no going back.
Yeah.
And if the title company missed something, if we do something wrong, that's what the buyer's protected, saying,
Then it's on you to
then
recover
it's
whatever
the
That's
title
right.
company, and then we look
Correct.
into it.
Now,
Right.
has there been people, if someone didn't do, we just got our roof done last week.
Yeah.
We paid them, but let's just say we did not pay them, and they have to they have to record a lien on the title. They can't come back, say we sell it next year and then come back 5 years later. Can they do that and say, oh, I did the work? But they never recorded anything.
Yeah,
Has that happened?
No, it doesn't happen very often. The type of in certain areas where things are not cut and dry, or there might be something a structure that's built in a certain way that was missed at the closing or neglected or whatever it is, that happens. And sometimes it happens with taxes that the person said, oh, the check was sent and the title company trusts it,
And it
and then
overlaps,
exactly. The title insurance company will have to step up and pay that. But I could tell you that title insurance attorneys and insurance companies are very meticulous to make sure that risk and any kind of claim is at an absolute minimum.
Can a contractor put a title on something? Don't they have to go through a court process to do that, or put a lien on a title?
Yeah.
Or they can't just do it on their own because the bill's not paid?
Can they just record it, or
No,
does
yeah.
it have to go through the courts?
No, they do. They can record a lien.
Wow.
On their own, absolutely. And it
Pay your
has to be
stuff, folks.
legitimate, though.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
has to be
Absolutely.
legitimate. Yeah.
Yeah. So like for example, our roof that we got done last week, it was an insurance claim, and so we had to pay our deductible. I think that's maybe where some people, they just don't pay it. I'm not sure. And then there's a mechanics lien, but dealing with a mechanics lien on the title is not fun.
Right.
It
has to be satisfied.
In a short sale situation, that has to be taken care of, or you can't even do the short sale. So the seller, thankfully, on the one I did, she ended up paying it because she just wanted to be done and over with the short sale situation.
Got it.
So taking it back to the importance of having a team, right? That does this on a daily basis all day
Right.
long. Is, for example, when we get a real estate contract from an attorney, I receive that. We literally work with that attorney from beginning to end, and we work very, very just carefully, effectively, to make sure that everything is done. And so from the time we get a contract to the time we close, the title company is diligently working with all departments to make sure that everything is taken care of, so that by the time they close, it's a lot of work.
It's a well-oiled machine. You can tell that you're going to watch. You all know the steps that
Yes.
have to be done, so you're all playing that
It's
game
a
together.
process.
Same teamwork. Right.
In
And so
other
that's-
words, is your head spinning yet? Because it's like,
Well, I think he caught me one time. My eyes were kind of drifting over like that. But then you went down and explained it. No,
Yeah.
because it's
It's
so
a process that
informative.
we know.
Folks,
Like, it's a
listen to
process that
the
we
show.
do
It's so
day
great.
in and day out, and we just do
Right.
it so well. Like the industry, I'm saying, like all of us. And that's where I come in. And so what I do is I work closely with every single attorney, all of our customers, on every single file from beginning to end. I answer every phone call. I returned every missed call. I return every text from real estate agents.
she's so good.
I thank you so
Do you
much.
have a to-do list?
I've been doing this for 16
You just-
years, and I just,
It's all in your head.
She doesn't
And-
go to bed if that phone,
Yeah,
if that voicemail is not at zero. No
Right.
flashing lights
And,
ever.
and what I do is I just connect my customers to every department quickly so that they get a response. That's what I do. So
That's
it's
what you
very
need,
important
yeah.
to work with the right, with the right people.
It really is, because it could,
And so it goes well. It sounds a little bit, like maybe it's a little challenging, but because we do it all day long, every day, we can do it. We just do this. We know how to do this.
Yeah.
Well, and the more you can do. Do you know what I mean? When you're that effective in what it is and your to-do list, you're just talking about a different kind of to-do list. She does
Yeah.
it manually. You do it, in your head. You know exactly that this has to be taken care of. So it's very interesting. And Steve, you just kind of
How do you do
make
your-
sure
play a
everything's done
role?
in the middle.
What do you
right?
do, Steve? Now that I think
just
about
like
it,
ping
what
pong,
do
I
you
want you to
do?
go back and forth. I was just thinking, if there's anything that came out of the different process with COVID, it is that before, the magic moment was kind of at the closing table. Everyone would get together, and you have the seller's agent, the seller's attorney, and
Celebrating. It was
mortgage guy or gal, and all that. But really, so much work happens outside of that hour of closing that is just now really just a moment of finalizing the transaction. But there's so many important interaction moments pre even the sign going in the yard with your agent, to working with your attorney to get the right stuff clear and clean for presentation at the closing.
People behind the scenes.
There's
that
a lot,
should be clicking
and
those
So
I mean,
buttons
many
from a
emails
mortgage
and-
standpoint
yeah.
of getting
From
all the
beginning.
things done from a mortgage standpoint, all that. So just know, a real estate transaction is the full 45 days. Someone is pushing that transaction along on the buy side and the sell side and all that.
And I would have to say
much of it
everyone
has
is.
to do with insurance, title insurance. So.
Because like you said, Heather, you're showing up, when you have to show up, right? Like
Totally.
you're also checking up on things.
I don't go to the seller closings, especially for the short sales, because even though I'm very organized and I try to get everything done ahead of time before the closing, something always comes up with a short sale. I mean, it's inevitable. It just does. And I like to be in my environment,
Command
with my
central.
file, and my Sharpies. And I like to be there in case something comes up, in case I have to contact the, negotiator,
Right.
all that. So that's why I don't normally go.
so
Do you want to give Steve? We're going to be running out of time. Do you want information out there? Your contact information
Yes.
as well. We got Carmen.
Sure, Steve Kaempf. You can actually go to People Not Titles on Facebook, and you can find me there.
We've got that.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just
Okay.
want to stress one more thing. It's really important to work also with a real estate agent that does real estate all day long and not that they don't do it part-time.
Absolutely.
Exactly
Walk
that.
away.
Or,
Very
or
important.
a short sales specialist.
There you go.
Because
Who knows what they're doing?
The
on
gal
short
who wrote
sales.
the book
You
on
have
it.
to have
Yes.
We've got the list
experienced
checked.
people.
Boxes are all checked right here in studio tonight.
Are we ending? Okay, so I couldn't hear my music. 2 weeks, Adil Mohammed is coming back to talk about foreclosure defense.
Fabulous.
We're going to see what's going on with the
Fabulous.
moratoriums, and I'm super excited about that. 4 weeks, grand opening. Hope to see you there. Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Heather.